Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we're going to be doing a flip through of my completed pages for October. It is now the 1st of November, which means it's going to be Christmas soon and we can do some Christmas pictures. I'm so excited. If you can't tell, I'm already excited for Christmas. So we're going to start off with this page, which was a free PDF from Rita Berman. So she released this on her Instagram account. So I downloaded it and started working on it straight away because I was like, I really want to get this finished for Halloween. So I used the Arteza pencils for this one, and then I just used a bit of Posca pen to go around and add in some little dots and some highlights and to go around the clouds and things. But I didn't do it realistic, as you can see. I mean, the hedgehog's semi-realistic, but the owl is bright pink because I like pink, so why not make it pink? So yeah, it's a weird and wonderful picture. But yeah, that was the PDF that I did for this month. So next we're going to look at the ones that I did for Halloween. So I did one from Summer Nights by Hannah Carlson, and I did this one as a Halloween picture. So you guys can see there, I've used Bambino crayons, the clay crayons. So I used them to do the background, so like the blacks and the blues. They're not the best at blending. I think you've got to really use them with similar colours to get them to blend quite easily. So for example, like the yellow and the creamy colour, that blended quite well. But then when you tried to mix like the cream with the pink, that wasn't as easy. So I think if you're going to use these, try and use very similar colours to do your gradient rather than trying to go from like a cream to a pink. You need to go from like a cream to a really light pink to a slightly darker pink and work it that way. But I'm still happy with how it came out. I really like the spiders on this one. So I used Arteza pencils for the flowers, the gemstone and the spiders. And the only other thing that I used on this was some white Posca pen to go over the cobwebs to make them stand out a bit more, look a bit more spooky. But I'm super happy with how the gem came out. And semi-realistic. So yeah, I'm quite happy with this page. So that's that one. The next picture that I did for Halloween was from Phantomorphia by Kirby Roseanne. So for this I did the pumpkin page, which if you guys have seen on my channel, I did do a speed colouring with it, with the colour numbers on there, so that you guys could try and follow along if you wanted to. It was quite a long video in the end because it did take me quite a long time to do this one. I used the Brute Ferner pencils for the pumpkin itself. I used white Posca pen to do the mouth and the eyes and the nose. So that was black underneath. So I went over it all with the white Posca and then went over the white Posca when it was dried with the Brute Ferner pencils to try and make it look like the pumpkin was glowing. That was my aim for this picture. And then I did a acrylic paint background. So it's just a really dark blacky blue black background. And then I used a white gel pen to add in the little bone details in the background, just to break it up so it wasn't just solid black. I wanted it to look like it had something else in the picture, but I wasn't sure what to do, so I went with bones. So that was that one. Okay, so now we're going to move away from the Halloween pictures and we're going to jump into Rita Berman's new book. So in here I've got 2 completed pages that I've done. So the first one is this one. So for this I used Brute Ferners for most of the picture itself, and I used the Claw pastel pencils just to do the sky in the circle background there, but everything else was done with Brute Ferner. And then I just went around the picture with some soft pastels, but I picked a really bright pink colour because I wanted it to be really bright. But yeah, I'm really happy with how this came out. I think the houses look super cute. I added in some brickwork to this one. So you can see it's got some little bricks, and then I did a few little bricks on the bottom of this one as well and filled in this wall full of bricks. Added some extra bricks in this one. But I'm really happy with how it came out. I think it's super cute. Yeah. And if there was a street that looked like this somewhere, I would want to live in this house. The green one. And then the next picture that I did in here is somewhere. Ah, here we go. Is our colour along. So it is finally completed, you guys. So I've done a video for each one of these little pictures, which is already up on my YouTube if you want to take a look. But we did the last one on Sunday, so that's now completed. And I'm just really happy with how the picture turned out. I'm really glad that some of you guys are following along as well. And I can't wait to see your pictures on Instagram of your finished page. So yeah, it's been really enjoyable doing this page and I'm really happy with it. And that's everything for this book. So the next one of Rita Berman's that I've got is her 4 Seasons book. So I decided to do one out of the autumn section, because we are in autumn, or fall if you're in America. But here in the UK we call it autumn. So I decided to do all of this as like grassland and sort of yellow fields and green fields. And that was all done with Faber-Castell Black Edition pencils. And I did all the kites with the same pencils. And then the only other thing that I used on this page was the Munger soft pastels. So I used sort of like a light blue here and then a bit darker as we come to the top. And then I used a grey at the very top to make it look a bit more sort of cloudy and autumny. And then I went over these little wind swirls with the white Posca and here where she's added them around the kites just to make them stand out a little bit more. So hopefully you can see that on camera. There we go. So that was that page, and that's the only one that I did from that book. Next I did a buddy colour. So it was Pop Manga Mermaids and Other Sea Creatures. And we picked this page here. So I did this with Candy Tiggs. So I'll insert a picture of her completed page. For this I used the Brute Ferner pencils, so for the skin and the hair and the octopus. And then the background I used soft pastels, so I've got blues and greens just random in the background. And I just went over these bubbles with white Posca to make them look a little bit more like bubbles. But yeah, I'm super happy with how the octopus turned out. I really like it. It's so purple and cute. Her skin and everything came out okay, that's not that bad, but the hair I'm really not happy with. But it's finished and I can't redo it, so I'm just going to have to suck it up. So that was that one. And I'll insert a picture of Candy's now. So next we're going to move on to Lulu Mayo. So I've done one out of a million sloths this month. And I did this page here because I wanted to have both of these pages finished. Because when I do one side of the page, I like to try and make the other side look quite similar. I don't want it to be exactly the same, but I want it to look quite similar so that it doesn't look disjointed when you're looking through the book. So for this I used the Claws pastel pencils. So for all of the main picture, the mushrooms, even the skin, they've got really good skin tones in there for a pastel set. And then for the background I used soft pastels, so just a green and like a bluey purple for the background. But I'm super happy with how this came out. It's just super cute. I love them pastel pencils because you get really nice colours, like the really light pinks and things like that you don't, I mean, you do get them in other sets of pencils, but they're not as common. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this came out. And I like my little ghosts. That was my Halloween contribution from this book. But yeah, super cute page. And I'm happy with how it came out. So I'll just lift it up. I didn't even use any white Posca on this one actually. It's just all pastels and normal pencils. So that's that one. The next one of Lulu Mayo's that I've got is A Million Unicorns. So for this one, I chose this page, which is like the castle floating in the sky. So it's on the clouds. So I thought I'd do like a galaxy themed background to try and make it look like they really are floating. So for the castle itself and for the unicorns, I used the Claw pastel pencils. And then for the background, I did this with soft pastel pencils. So I just picked like a really dark blue, a purple, a pink, and then like a black to add in some depth within it, and I just randomly placed it and mixed it all together with the cotton wool pad, and then went over it with a white gel pen to add in some stars and some sort of like lines where the cloud shapes would be. But I'm super happy with that one. I think it's come out really cute, and I just really like the effect that it gives on the page. So that is that one. And then the last book that I coloured in is this one, which is Tales from the Forest Kingdom by Hannah Carlzon. Now this book I only got like 2-3 days ago. So I did the title page in here. I used claw pencils for the mushrooms in the background. And because they don't have any sort of grey colours in there, I used the Faber-Castell Black Edition for the rocks themselves. So other than that though, the rest of it was all done with the claws pencils. But this is a super cute book. There's some really magical, mysterious pictures in here. So if you guys want a full flip through of this, let me know and I can do that for you. And that's it, you guys. That is the last one that I've got to share with you. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.